Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about episodes 7 and 8 of The Circle season 2. It's getting good.
Oh my God, these are such good episodes. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And we've got a Patreon. There's a link in the description if you would like to support us there as well.
I mean, speaking of our Patreon, we're wrapping up Micronesia, and these last episodes, oh my God.
They're so good. I'm so glad that we did this season. I mean, so many people were recommending it to us. And
yes,
for me, it's my first time watching, and the payoff is just, it's so good.
Yes. Good morning, everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us. It's early to me, but I'm sure the rest of the world has already been up and moving around.
Whenever we talk about doing on a morning, Sarah's like, 11 is the earliest.
Yes.
So 10 a.m. is like really getting her up out of bed.
This is literally the earliest. It does not exist before 10 a.m. for Sarah. I got the coffee. I'm ready to go. But these episodes will wake me up.
Yes.
Because I was howling at episode 7. So we're coming off of, they gave us a little bit of a cliffhanger with episode 6. We had Courtney and River, as influencers deciding who they were going to block. And so this episode we see it is Terilisha.
I was bummed. I really liked Terilisha a lot. And I forget even who was it between? Was it her and Emily Jack? Those are the two that they were debating between. And I was like, no offense, Jack, but get him out of here. I'm over it. And I really liked Terilisha, and she was I thought, she did a great job, and then she kind of bungled it with the whole public fight with Savannah. But I just wanted more from her, and so I was sad to see.
I know. I was so bummed that I agree. I was so excited about Terilisha at the very beginning. If she could have just zipped it and just played the game instead of being like, "Oh no, don't come for me," she'd still be here. But it caught up with both her and Savannah, and now they're both out.
Yeah. And so Terilisha, of course, she gets to visit somebody. She picks Chloe. Now, I wasn't necessarily expecting this, but I did enjoy the conversation that they had, because it starts off really funny with, Chloe's got the drawing of Terilisha on her sliding glass door, wanted catfish Terilisha, and Terilisha's like, I'm real. Why did you think I was a catfish? And I just thought this was so interesting that she's like, well, you had a filter on your picture. And that's what's unique about this show. It's all the social media aspect. People read into they're not reading into body language and things like that. So they're just a filter on a photo can make you think that someone's fake. I think that's so interesting.
It's true. Why are you putting a Snapchat filter on your photo for this show? You got to think about that stuff when you're picking these pictures. You are telling them who you are. But I think it's really because of the whole fight. That just was not going to happen with them. But while Terilisha's there, she does give Chloe a little bit of game info. She does talk about how Savannah had talked about maybe getting rid of Chloe in that very first influencer chat.
Right.
She tells her the info Kat gave her about the Joker.
Right. Yeah. That the Joker's probably Emily. And, there's a little more talk about maybe Trevor's a catfish, because Trevor talks like a girl sometimes. And for the longest time, I've thought that, Delisa's been doing such a good job as Trevor, but people are starting to pick up on subtle little things. And that's kind of the beginning of what is a lot of talk about catfishes in Catfish in these 2 episodes. They just keep seeing real person after real person go, and they're like, okay, but where are the catfish? They're there somewhere. Why are we not finding the fake people?
Right. Okay, so the goodbye message, I think, is what really, pushes them over the edge, because all of a sudden Terilisha shows up. It's Terilisha. They're like, oh my gosh, still not a catfish. We just keep getting rid of these real people. But she, says, I know who the Joker is, and karma, just like the circle, coming around for you. She doesn't know who the Joker was, but
she doesn't.
Courtney's like, that's ominous. Oh,
yeah. He's like, thank God I got rid of Terilisha.
Yeah. But I think that like looking for Catfish is such a distraction because you don't really, you're just trying to win the game, right? It doesn't matter if people are catfishes or not.
Right.
But if you're a catfish and people are like, what? We keep getting rid of real people and not catfish? Like Lee does, he kind of puts it in gear and he's like, oh, they're looking for catfish now. They're worried about that. I'm a catfish. Let me spearhead the whole thing. Let me go for like, I really like how Lee steps it up in this because he doesn't need to, but he needs to like deflect and like.
He does. Yeah. It's like, because if he's, like you say, he's amongst the ranks of catfish. So he's like, let's get other catfish out and not me. So he's starting to think Emily, Trevor, these both seem like catfish to me. Like, I don't know, I'm curious what they're seeing that's making them think these things. Obviously, we heard from Chloe, sometimes Trevor has like a feminine energy in the way that he communicates, but like what else? Because it's hard for us to judge because we just know, Right. But I'm curious, like, what is Lee seeing in these communications that's making him think that, Emily and Trevor are not who they say they are, but he's on to them.
Well, I'll tell you, Emily is horrible at this. Jack is so bad at catfishing. It's 1,000 things that are like alarm bells for these people who are like, what is he doing?
He should not be impersonating a woman. Like,
no,
he's not prepared for that.
If he didn't want to be himself, he should be catfishing as someone like Mitchell. He should be catfishing as like a bro dude, because that's how Jack talks. And that is not how an Emily talks.
No.
Like, you're just, oh gosh. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, more about that later.
And then I thought, as they're, back into the circle chat and they're all discussing, Terilisha's getting blocked and all of this, Chloe just reveals that Terilisha visited her. And that is not always something that people reveal, but Chloe's just being an open book about this. And then I think that kind of gets in Courtney's head a little bit, right? Because Courtney's like, ooh, what did Terilisha tell her?
Right. I mean, I think that Chloe goes about it the right way. I mean, if there is dirt or something questionable, then yes, hide it. But if you can say, yes, this person came to me and we had a great talk about being girls, like whatever, play it off as super cash. That's great. Do it that way. But yeah, then you all of a sudden are like, everyone else is going to be like, what did they talk about? What did they talk about?
Yeah.
What do they know? But what happened? Yeah. Okay, we get a little bit of a chat here. Lance connects with Kat and Mitchell. And this is hilarious because Kat thinks that she is a catfish hunter.
Yeah, she's got the nose for the catfish. Like she is sniffing him out. And I'm like, you did, but like you didn't. You know what I mean?
You didn't. This is so silly.
Yeah, right. You're correct that Lance is a catfish, but this is not like, it's not like you got him, you came up with like a foolproof method of sniffing him out. You just accidentally got the info that you think
a good decade ago or so. Like, I don't even know when it was that she saw this concert, but it would have been at least like how long ago was NSYNC doing tours? I don't know. Anyway, but 1,000 years ago, you did a concert in Texas with this awesome jacket. And like, once again, Lisa has the answers. Like she has the answers and she chooses to phrase them incorrectly. She should have said, girl, I don't remember what I wore on any of my tours, but my sister does have all my tour clothes. So I'll check with her and I'll get it for you. Like, just what I don't understand, Lisa, again, just like Jack, not real good at this.
She's bad at this game. Like she is. And they're having fun with her as a character, cutting to her, just eating an ice cream bar, reading a book, not engaging anybody in a circle chat. Like she is not really ready for the gameplay here, but you're right. The answer is, do you know how many jackets I wore when I was in NSYNC? I don't know what any of them look like because none of them were mine. Like they were all provided to me. So sure, maybe I was wearing that jacket. I don't know. But like, let's be friends, you know?
Yes. Like that's the answer. And unfortunately, Kat's like, I gotcha.
Kat's like, wrong answer, buddy. Yeah. I gotcha.
And I'm like, well, you're right. It is a catfish, but this is so ridiculous. And like, of course, Michelle has a cute joke at this point of like, okay, if everyone's a catfish who doesn't remember what they wore 20 years ago, all right, you know,
truly,
which is
and we are
true.
A catfish.
Yes. Okay, and now JVN's gonna pop up, which is super fun. He's gonna set us up for this Glammequin. Sorry, I want to say Quinn. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This challenge, and first off, JVN like shows his, and oh no, that's later. That's what the results. But I was like,
yeah,
why is his so good? But
well, I was like, do it.
Right, that's what I was like obsessed with. I was like, who did this though?
Yeah, right.
But who did it? It's too good to just be a random PA. But yeah, exactly. Like, it was an actual. Got it.
Right. Yep.
So we're just starting this out, and what we're just seeing right here is like maybe Jack's not very good at this.
Yeah, right. Because he's just putting powder directly onto the mannequin head. Everyone else is like painting foundation on to the thing. And I'm like, even if you don't know how to do makeup, like, you know, you've got to get like a base, like a painted base. So just experiment with all the products, see what they're doing, you know, pull your notebook out and test them on a piece of paper first. And then you'll see, oh, this one smears into a nice skin-like, tone. I'll use that. But he's just going for it. And he knows that it's bad news. He's like, as he's working on it, he's like, this is not what a 21-year-old woman would know how to do makeup. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe he like got in his head of like Emily knows how to do this and Jack doesn't. And he didn't, because you're like giving great tips here. Test some things out.
Yeah.
Think about, have you ever seen a beauty YouTube tutorial? Like
he probably
anything? No. Okay. Well, we'll leave him there because now Mitchell's going to open the Brotherhood chat. Let's get his dudes together.
I love that it's with 2 gay men and 2 women. And he's like, the dudes of the circle, bro to bro, yeah. And it's like the audience is the opposite of what he thinks it is.
100%. But the takeaway from this dudes chat is that Chloe and Trevor established a relationship first. And Mitchell, he's going to be the bigger man. He's going to step back.
Bro code. Yeah.
Yep. Bro code. Yep. Yo, I would never step on your toes. And Trevor's like, cool. All right. Great.
And Mitchell's like, I can go after Emily. Like, it's all good. Yeah. There are more women in the circle, so don't worry about it.
Emily. Yeah.
Chloe's a little bit shocked, though, when she gets invited, or she invites him to a private circle chat. And he's like, let's get to know each other in a friendly way. And she's like, no.
Wait, what? Well, first off, Chloe comes in as Chloe, super hot. She's like, hey, big boy, what's up? You know? And he's like, so how's the weather in your apartment? Feeling, and she's like, wait, what? Friend zoned
what
all the way.
What are we talking about? She's like, I just asked you how big you are, and you're coming at me with the weather. Like, what's so great about this whole thing is that they are now, like, Chloe and Mitchell should be together, right? But now they're both in these showmances with Catfish. Like, Chloe's with Terilisha and Mitchell's with Jack. It's totally mismatched. It's so funny.
It is. It's great. It's amazing. This is why we love the circle. But now we're going to get to one of my favorite parts ever in a show.
This is so good because I'll be honest, these games are a little bit hit and miss. The pancake one was a miss for me. Like, this is not changing anything for me. It's just like a silly segment. This is a fun, silly segment that is actually impacting the game. And that's what I want to see.
Yes. And the edit was superb. We get, well, first off, this is when we get JVNs, and I'm like, whoa, who did that one?
Professional.
Well, then we're seeing like Rivers is creative, and we're like, okay, Rivers, seems like a creative guy. Okay. Cats, I think, was gorgeous. I loved Cats.
Yeah, that was good.
Trevor's is like, oh, wow, Trevor's is good. Is it too good? Like, do we think this is a female now? But then Mitchell's is like too good. And no one's questioning Mitchell.
Didn't Mitchell have like a crazy wig on his, like a multicolored wig or something?
He did. Mitchell went a little odd, but it was still like artistic. Like he did well, right?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Then we get caught up on Lance's hair. Lance butchered the wig.
Totally. Yes. Again, Lisa just is bad at this.
Chloe's was pretty good. Hers was not bad. Courtney's was a bit of a like hot mess, just in like what's the theme here? There was no theme. It was just a hodgepodge. And then we got a music change, and they show Emily, and like the players, they do a bunch of like, and like, everything just slows down.
I know that mannequins are not alive, but it looks a dead mannequin head. It's like, whoa, what happened to you?
Everyone is like, oh. And of course, Jack is like, oh, no. Compared to the rest, it's bad. And then someone says, only a monster would do this. And it's so good. I was dying at this whole edit. And then JVN said something about the eyebrows should be related, but they're third cousins. I'm just falling over at this. Oh my God, David, this was so good.
It was so funny. And, Trevor wins the challenge, right?
Yes.
I'm like, sure. Okay, fine. Trevor's was good.
Whatever.
But I also feel like that should raise a red flag in the way that Jack Emily's mannequin is raising a red flag. To your point earlier, Sarah, like it's so good that like, yeah, maybe a woman did this, but Jack's is so bad. It's not even like bad funny, because like that's kind of what Mitchell's was, right? It was like kind of bad funny, but good because it's funny. But Jack's is just like horrifying. Like if you saw that in someone's like den, you'd be like, get me out of here. Like, where am I? Who is this person?
It's like a horror movie.
Yeah, truly.
Like, oh God. But here's what I want to make a point here, because some people online have been like, this challenge ruined Jack's game. And I have to disagree. Jack was bad at this, and Delisa is good at this. Trevor also could have raised red flags for Trevor's game. But Delisa knows how to handle things, knows how to talk to people. I am a woman who did not start wearing makeup until she was in her 30s. So if I were Emily getting caught in this, because I too would be like, oh God, I don't know what to do. You make jokes about it. You make a big deal about it. You talk to everyone and say, oh my God, I guess I should watch more beauty YouTube tutorials. Like, oh my God, I don't wear makeup. This is so crazy. Like, her photos look like she's a very natural girl. She could have played this off so well, and Jack didn't. And so I just have to make that, like, I think Jack is really bad at this, and he couldn't save himself out of the situation.
Yeah, he got too in his head about it. Like, he's so upset, crying about how this has ruined his game. And because he's there, he can't be in the place of like, how do I pivot? He's not defaulting to strategy. He's defaulting to like, this is a catastrophe. My game is ruined. And you just got to like pick yourself up out of that and say like, what can I say? Who can I talk to dig myself out of this hole? And he's not going there immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen people dig themselves out of holes that are way, way worse in other games. Like, just how do you stay in the game? What do you got to do? And he just didn't. Yeah, this edit where he's crying and everyone's going, that's a dude.
That's a man. A man did that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So right here at the end, this is the end of this episode. We just get an alert saying that this next ratings, 2 people will be blocked, which is just not what Jack wants to hear. And everyone freaks out.
Absolutely not. Yeah, because I think Jack is thinking like, best case scenario for me is that I'm second to last place in this coming, elimination order. Maybe there's one person that could get sent home before me. And I do think there was potential for that. Like, I think Courtney was kind of in trouble, in this next episode. But with 2 people going home, Jack is like, well, I might as well get all packed up tonight because that's not good for me.
Yeah. Okay. Moving into episode 8, we are waking up and Jack is realizing, I got to do some work. Like, I got to
do some work.
What do I got to do here?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the other worst person in this game, Lisa Lance.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to connect here.
Okay. Did he really think that maybe Lance was going to be an influencer this round? Because this is a questionable choice.
I know.
To go to Lance.
Lisa falls for it. She's like, because of course she does. She's terrible, right? She's like, oh, Emily seems really genuine. And she seems like she's really into space. What? No, I'm sorry. There's no way.
Okay.
She has such a bad read on everything.
Well, exactly. That's what she just does. She's like, oh, we're talking. This is great. We're best friends. Like, that's Lisa's take on everything. And, Jack is doing his thing. He's like, oh, we have space in common. Let's talk about that. Great. So they do. And Jack's like, well, Lance bought all of that. So great. I'm good now. I'm safe in the game now, basically, is what it seems like at this point. You're like, huh?
Yeah, it was very odd, but I was sort of more interested in this conversation between Kat and Delisa Trevor because I'm actually really enjoying Kat. I think she's a super fun addition to the game, and she's got such a good personality, big, fun, bubbly, but not annoying. I'm really loving her, and she's basically telling Trevor, Lance is a catfish. I caught him. And Trevor's like, okay, I guess maybe you caught him, but sure, great. As long as you don't think I'm a catfish.
Kat is like solid, like, got it, guys. Caught him. This is it. 100% a catfish. I know. Here's how. Caught him with a whole jacket thing. Okay, great. I mean, good thing Lance really is a catfish. Lisa really is a catfish because we now are going full into this story. And then we get a hashtag Gotti. Right. And that proves that Trevor is not a catfish.
Right. Trevor is actually a man because he used the hashtag Gotti.
Now, do you know this hashtag?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, from the sense I got from this interaction is that Gotti is like a slang version of got him. Am I reading that right?
It seems like it.
Yeah. But I wasn't aware of that. And
I did a quick Google and there is a person named Gotti, but I was like, okay.
I was familiar with the John Travolta film called Gotti that got a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
But I was not aware that was like a slang term, but learn something new every day,
Well, again, Kat's detective skills are solid. And so hashtag Gotti means Trevor is a guy. Great. Kat's also like, and Emily should know how to do makeup. But Trevor's like, don't worry about my girl, Emily.
Yeah.
Love her. Bye.
Focus on Lance. But then we get our Kardashian clan chat with Lee River, Courtney, and Chloe. And they are talking about Emily. Like, everybody's talking about, like, that thing was busted. Like, that mannequin looks like toxic masculinity. That was a man that did that. Like, they're all sniffing it out. And I love that Chloe's like, oh, Emily was my girl. Like, she's my circle bestie. I feel like I got played. And Lee goes, well, you're not getting played by me. And I'm like, but she is. Like,
no, this is why Lee is is so good. He's at the forefront of Catfish searching, and he's like, we're best friends. I'm not coming for you. Like, he's doing way better than I would ever imagine a middle-aged man doing. Like,
I know.
I'm so impressed by Lee right now. Yeah, and then Courtney's also like, we got you. Don't you worry about losing your sis in this game. Like, all's well. So overall, the Kardashians with a C doing just fine.
Okay. Seems like a solid alliance. Yeah. Then we get to play Don't At Me, and we get to ask questions anonymously, and this was fun. These people did not hold back.
Fun. Yeah, so they get to ask anonymously, but of course it's all public. So everyone is reading what's happening. And I gotta agree that, like, and I can't believe that Mitchell, this had to have been helped by a producer, but Mitchell's the one that's like, I don't want to come for Jack, but I just want to like casually question his makeup, right? I think it was Mitchell who asked Jack about the makeup. Yeah.
And I thought that Mitchell was like going after Emily as like a showman's thing, but now all of a sudden he's like, wait, maybe this is a dude. So I'm going to ask publicly. Like, it really could have been anybody who was asking about the makeup. And it was a little bit odd that it was Mitchell.
But it was great because we have, you know, like there are some questions that seem like really poking, like, what's it like to be a catfish? You know, like really coming. And this doesn't feel like he's coming for him, but it is a coming for you question. Jack, what are your favorite makeup brands or whatever? Okay. Well, Jack once again fumbles this ball.
Totally. And you're right. Like as if Mitchell is gonna see the response and know either way whether it's accurate, right? Like that's why it doesn't make sense for him specifically to be asking this question. Because he probably saw it and was like, oh, collection company. Okay, totally. You know, I'll buy that. But like, that's not anything, you know? No. And Jack just like all you have to do as Jack, granted, this is still a bad answer, but you just be like, oh, I use Maybelline for everything. Because that is a brand that everybody knows. And you don't have to be like, oh, let me pull out my makeup kit and like name two brands, one of which half the people haven't heard of, and the other one is totally fake. Like, just say one thing, like, oh, I probably couldn't even name 5, you know, I use this for everything. And that kind of explains why you're bad at makeup. You know?
Seriously, this was the perfect opportunity for him to say, hello, coming at me for that makeup challenge. Y'all, I don't wear makeup. I just put on my Maybelline eyeliner and go for the day. I don't even know more. Like, this was the perfect setup for him to actually save himself. And let me remind you that in an earlier episode, Jack said a football player's name to Terilisha, and she ran to her notebook and had to look up who that was. But she had it, and she was like, oh, yeah. And she responded. So the fact that Jack didn't come in with a notebook full of just basic female crap, that's your first strike. First strike.
Totally. First, second, and third strike, frankly. Like, that is so 101 in terms of like impersonating someone of the opposite sex. Like, be prepared to answer those kinds of questions. So he fumbles it again. Like, this was his opportunity to kind of make up for his mistake, and he blew it. So yeah, not good.
Oh yeah. And this is hilarious because everyone else again is like, collection co, while he's like, nailed it, close the thing, and great, saved my butt here. And he thinks everything's fine, while people are like, those aren't brands. You did not answer. That's not.
No, it's not good. So afterwards, you know, Jack Emily is still trying to do something, reaches out to Mitchell, right? Because Mitchell, it's interesting that he, you know, chooses to go this route, not knowing that Mitchell is the one who called him out and don't at me. But he's reaching out and, you know, trying to, I don't know what, but Mitchell's just not buying it. You know, Mitchell's like, I still think that she's a catfish.
Yeah. And I have 0 notes on this conversation. So that was exciting, obviously. Then Kat and Chloe have a little conversation, and Kat knows who Chloe is from Too Hot to Handle. She's basically just like kissing her butt.
Yeah. Just like a little love fest between the two of them, which is interesting because I think they're two of the best liked players in the game right now and getting along together. So that could be like an interesting duo if that continues to develop.
Now we get our ratings.
Yes.
We're going through. They're like, here, what do we do? What do we do?
Right. We don't really know like where everything is going to, you know, shake out, but they're all placing their rankings.
Then Trevor and River touch base a little bit. This is cute because Trevor, now, how does Trevor think that this is River? Again, how did you figure that out? That River would come for you like that? But Terilisha has a plan of like, let me just guilt River, which I like.
I wonder if I wonder if she did this with multiple people and this is the only one they aired, you know, because it is a little too convenient that she has a really smart idea and she just happens to do it with the one person who actually called her out. So I have a feeling maybe she did this with like a few people that she thought might have called her out, but it's so smart to do this. She comes like just kind of almost apologetic, you know, like, oh, like, why? I don't understand. Like someone's coming for me. And it works. Like, granted, like, of course it's going to work on Lee because he is just the sweetest man who's ever lived. But he's like,
and it was
man, like, I wish I wouldn't have asked that now, you know? And it's like, no, you were right to ask that because Trevor is a catfish, but he's just so sweet.
And then Lee, I thought, handled it really well because, yes, like you said, it is working on him. He is feeling guilty, but he's like, I've never thought you were a catfish. Like you, like, we're such good friends. Like, I got your back. Like, Lee handled it really, really well to the point that Terilisha's like, I don't know. Maybe he didn't do it. Maybe, maybe I'm wrong here. But ultimately, she's like, if you know, but it worked, or I did my job. If it was him, don't know that it's him, but I did my thing. So, you know, good conversation here.
Yeah, and interesting to me that in the conversation, Lee River says, "Don't worry, Trevor. You're good with me, Chloe, and Courtney." And I'm like, you're just outing your alliance of 3 here and that you're going to save Trevor. And Trevor, you know, Terilisha doesn't respond to that. Like, wait a minute. I didn't know that those 3 were a thing, but like, this is valuable information. And they just kind of like rolled over it, you know?
Yeah. I think they roll over some things that they just are not fitting into the episode or are just not for this storyline. But you have to imagine Terilisha's like, noted.
Yeah, right. Right under my list of football players, I'm going to write down that those 3 are in an alliance.
Yeah, of course, 100%. Okay, now we get our ratings results. And
yes, but before they say that there are no influencers, and it's the bottom 2 are blocked.
Automatic blocking. Which is terrifying.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go in the other order that they usually go backwards. We're going to go down. So number 1, Chloe.
Chloe. Good old Chloe. She has really turned things around for herself. Just being her sweet, British, charming self is working. Number 1.
I cannot believe they have let her stay in the game.
Truly.
And now everyone just loves her and wants to be her best friend and are not realizing that everybody is thinking that.
Yep. It's like Winners at War. Everybody wanted to be friends with Boston Rob, even though like you got to get Boston Rob out of here. Here we are with someone who is a known reality show star. And they're all like, I want to be friends with her. I'm like, I'd be getting her out of here so fast.
Yes. Number 2, Cat. Oh, I
and people are shook.
Girl. Yes.
People are like, wait, what? She's already number 2 and she just got here. And it's like, yeah, you better watch out for her because she's doing great.
100%. A newbie should not be that high. And she is number 2. That's insane. Number 3 is a River, who is killing it at this game.
Yes.
River, so good. Then number 4 is Trevor / Terilisha.
Yep. Dee's still playing a great game. I think like fell a little like Trevor's been like very consistently number 3. But this isn't, I don't think this suggests like a huge change in Terilisha's game here. But, I think this is 3 and 4 to me is kind of where you want to be because you're not too popular and you're not, at risk of going home. So River and Trevor, good positioning for them.
Yeah, I agree. That is a total sweet spot. Bruce, no, the only thing they knew ahead of rating was that 2 people were going to go home, but they didn't get the influencer info until they were
until we revealed the rankings. Yeah.
Now, this is when, people are starting to get nervous of like, oh gosh, where am I? My name hasn't shown up yet. And I got to be honest with you, when number 5 was Mitchell, who can't even bring himself to stop eating his pasta
and his
for these ratings.
Yeah.
I was like, buddy, you can go. I wish you weren't 5. I wish you were going at this point. Like,
I know.
People are on pins and needles. They are standing up. They are terrified for their game. And he's like, who's next?
Right. Oh, let me get my next entree. Great. My next plate of food. But like, he's just not a threat. Like, I don't think anyone is looking at him like gonna win the game. So, they don't feel the need to like rank him low strategically,
I guess maybe, but like, that just makes me mad as someone who takes these games really seriously.
Yeah. You're like, put down your fork, Mitchell.
You just got cast because your brother was on last season and you're hot. And then now you like don't even take this seriously. Like that kind of stuff. Just get out of here with that. Yeah. But you're right. No one's taking him seriously. So it's okay. Okay. Then
last one.
This is it. This is the last safe person. And it is Courtney.
And I thought Courtney might be going just because, there was some weird stuff.
Yes.
Weird like vibes going around with Courtney. And I didn't want him to go because I'm really enjoying Courtney a lot. But I just wasn't sure that they were going to get rid of Lance because Chloe's number 1. And like, yes, Lance is like a known person, but Lance hasn't been doing anything other than being a known person to like be a threat in the game because, again, I can't say it enough. Lisa's bad at this game. But evidently they were just like, got to get rid of this guy.
Were they like, bye?
Okay. I'm so mad I didn't think of that. So it was just right there. It was like,
it was right there
in front of my face.
Yep. That's what they were like. Lance and Emily are the 2 that are blocked here. And not surprising. Emily is literally last.
Yeah, right. Lance is whatever. Emily's 8th place.
7th. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like I don't mind losing either of these people at this point. I'm fine with this as a double elimination. Great. Get 2 players out of here that I don't think are doing that well. Keep the ones that are. But then we get a twist because they get to go meet someone and Lisa goes to meet River. And does she end up in a completely new room or does she end up back in her room? I couldn't tell by the decor. I was like, wait, is this her room? Where are we?
Yeah, no, they walked into a room and I was like, this isn't River's room. This is a new room that I don't
because there's no flag. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And so then she's like, hello. And then boom, Jack walks in. And it's funny because they're both catfish, right?
Yes.
Like if one of them wasn't a catfish, they would have walked in and been like, but they're like, wait, who are you?
Who are you? Yeah.
Who are you? And then Lisa's dumb self is like, I'm Lisa. And you're like, that's not what he's asking.
Right.
Who have you been in the circle? Duh. She's like, hi, I'm Lisa. Nice to meet you. And he's like, I'm Jack, but I'm Emily. And she's like, oh, I'm Lance. I mean, Oh, God.
Yeah.
We took an extra 5 minutes to just not be like, I'm Emily. I'm Lance. Okay. Wait, we're both blocked and we're both in this room. I thought I was going to visit whoever. I forget who Jack was going to go visit, but
yeah, I forget too. I don't know if they ever told us, but
so production has forced them into the same room together, and they have a message that they ain't going anywhere.
I'm over it.
Look at you.
I was so fine with them being gone, and now like that these two get a second chance, you know, and they're paired together as it seems like one profile now, because they're like, you're getting a second chance. This picture pops up and they're like, who the hell is that? And then like, boom, you know, credits roll, show's over. So in the preview, did you watch the preview?
Yeah.
So it's John, I guess, presumably is this guy's name, part-time psychic, part-time Santa. And we're seeing shots of Jack and Lisa in the room together. So this is kind of like last season with the guy and his mom, right? Where two people are there pretending to be the same person. But I'm interested to see how this is going to work now.
Look, I'm here for this twist. Like, it is interesting to randomly take two people who are blocked and make them work together. Like, they don't even know each other. Like, how are you going to be a person together? Well, I think it's a interesting twist. But yes, they're both horrible, David. I can read it on your face. They're two of the worst catfishers, and can they be like half decent at it? I don't think so.
Lisa is going to drive Jack crazy.
I know.
Because I mean, yes, he had some bad instincts, but all of Lisa's instincts are bad. Okay. And so she's going to be like, why don't we say this? And he's going to be like, why did production put me with you? I'm not going to win.
I see people in the chat debating like if they're in a 2-bedroom apartment, which they could be, but oh my God, what a nightmare. Yeah. I just was hoping that they could keep their original apartments and just during the day come together to this room, but like go back to their apartments and not live together. You know what I mean?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Like, because they haven't moved out of their apartments as of like this moment in the show. All their stuff is still, because I was like, if I were one of them, I'd be like, I am not living with this person. That is not what I signed up for.
And I was thinking like, are there 2 bedrooms or are they like sharing a bed now? You know?
No, there are 2
or maybe
bedrooms.
They're sharing a bedroom, two single beds in a bedroom.
Well, I mean, they could if it was Big Brother, they would. But like Ed and his mom had their own bedrooms, so
okay.
Let's
go for that then.
Easily could be in a 2-bedroom, but I would not want to be in a 2-bedroom with this person. I would want to go back to my own apartment. Thank you very much.
Yes, right.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how these two are going to manage this new profile. And it's so weird. It's like a psychic. So like, I'm immediately going to kick you out of the circle anyway. There was a psychic in one of the UK versions. I think it was UK season 1. And like the whole time people are like, but are you really a psychic? Well, then you need to go because you know I'm a catfish.
Right.
But obviously he didn't know all the catfish.
Right. Then the other twist in this preview is that at some point, the top influencer is going to be a secret super influencer, which apparently means that it's just one person getting to pick who is blocked. So excited for all these twists coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it because the circle is like really ruining these people's games. They're they're like, but we'll mess it up. Let's just mess things around. I love it. Yes, I'm loving Kat. I love Chloe, but I don't know why they're keeping her in the game.
Same.
I love Lee as River.
Yeah. And I really like Terilisha as Trevor. Like she doesn't like warm my heart the way that like Kat and Lee do, but she's playing a great game. And, you know, she just needs to be careful because people are starting to sniff out the catfish thing for whatever reason. And so she's got to like lock that down a little bit.
Oh, that was the other thing. I was like, okay, they're going to be so excited. They're going to get 2 goodbye messages that are both catfish, and they'll all be like, yes, we did it. And
Got
then
'em.
they'll like
Boom,
let it
boom.
go a little bit, you know? Then they could calm down and not be just looking for catfish. But now they're not going to get those goodbye messages. Or maybe they still will. I hope
think they still might.
That would be awesome if they officially do get like goodbye messages.
They have to still think that they're out of the game, because otherwise then they're like, okay, are they just this new guy then? Like, why didn't we get goodbye messages from these people? They're somewhere. So I think for this twist to be effective, they've got to get the goodbye messages, see that they're catfish. And then ideally they get eliminated again at some point. We get another goodbye message from them, and that will be a great moment. But yeah.
That would be interesting. Okay, I hope that they do that, because I was like, oh no goodbye message. I mean, I'm not going to assume they're in the game still, but I guess I should. If I didn't get a goodbye message, I should assume.
I'd be like, where are they?
Game. Yeah. Good point. File that when I go on the circle.
Yeah, okay. That's right.
Oh, okay. In the UK version, they still get goodbye message. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you for that. Okay. So basically, and I do enjoy Courtney, even though I'm like sometimes iffy on Courtney. I think Mitchell is the only one out of this group that I'm like, he can go. Yeah,
he can go.
He's very lovely to look at, but like, I don't need it.
I don't need it. I want gameplay. So he's not giving it to me.
I'll just look at Ty in Big Brother Canada if I need to look.
Oh yeah.
Anybody.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
All right, you guys, that's this round of episodes. We'll have 4 more on Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday is the last 4. Like it's a short little bit of the circle here. We get 4 episodes every Wednesday, right? So this Wednesday coming up is the third round of 4 episodes. The following Wednesday is the 4th round of 4 episodes. That's the last round of episodes.
There's 16 episodes of the circle.
Yeah.
Whoa. I thought it was 4, 4, 4, and then 1 finale.
No.
They're stretching this show out as long as Drag Race season 13. 16 episodes. But
it feels so much shorter. It's like 4 weeks. It's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just like, it just doesn't feel like it's such a small like number of people, I guess, competing. It's only 8 people competing at one time in the circle. So I'm like, how do they stretch 16 episodes out of 8 people? But
because they keep adding people,
new people in and in.
Yeah. Even that last week of shows, there'll be new people showing up, and you're like, oh, honey, you ain't winning. They're gonna block you immediately.
No
But the last episode is like a chitty chat. So like those last 4 aren't going to be like completely all game, you know, like then you have a fun, you know, the final group, like have a little round table and stuff like that. So yeah. We did sign up for this.
We did.
Last season, there were 4 episodes that last day. I remember because I had to cram to watch them all.
We're gonna have to look into this.
Yeah.
Molly thinks it's 1 the last week. Okay.
I read about it at the beginning of the season, and they said it was going to be the same with 4 episodes for 4 weeks. So, but no matter what, we'll be here.
We are going to cover them all.
And the following weekend, all of the episodes, no matter how many. And we are excited to do so. Also, we've got Drag Race finale. Didn't finish it. Don't spoil it for me. Oh my God. Got to go finish it right now. We'll talk about that on Monday. And then, of course, BB Can. What the heck's happening in that house? We'll talk about that next week. Yes. All right, excited. You guys, thank you for joining us live on a Saturday morning. I appreciate it.
Yes. Good morning to all of you. We appreciate that. And if you're joining us later, let us know what you thought about these couple of episodes and, you know, who you're liking out of who's left, which I guess is still everybody because nobody went home. Are you happy about Lance and Emily still in the game, Jack and Lisa? Or do you feel more like I do? I would have preferred to see them go.
Yep.
Let us know what you think.
A little bit of that. All right. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Okay. Bye.